Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I am baking my way through the Love to Bake book from the Great British Baking Show, and I am going to make some tiramisu cake. So if you're new to the channel, great, welcome, and let's get started. So the first thing I needed to do was get 75 grams of unsalted butter and melt it. So I already have that. I'm just going to leave that to cool slightly, is what it says. Then I have 8 eggs in my stand mixer already, fitted with my whisk, and I am going to add 200 grams of caster sugar. I am just going to whisk this on medium speed for 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, it did say to wait till it was thick and mousse-like and leaves a ribbon trail, so it definitely is doing that. I have 200 grams of plain flour sifted together with 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder and a pinch of salt, and I'm just going to put it in the bowl. Add my ground almonds, so I have 50 grams of ground almonds, and it says using a large metal spoon, gently fold in the ingredients. All right, I think I've got it all mixed. So now it says to pour the melted butter around the inside edge of the bowl and gently fold in. I mean, my bowl is pretty full. I'm not really sure how I have an inside edge, but we'll do that. Okay, and then gently fold in. I don't want to do it too much because then I lose all the air. Now I need to put my batter equally between my pans. Today we are using 3 8-inch or 20-centimeter pans, and so I just need to fill those evenly, which is just always harder than it sounds. So they're all level looking to me. They look like they have about the same amount. I have my oven preheated to 355 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 180 degrees Celsius. And I'm just going to bake them for about 20 minutes until golden, well risen, and the skewer comes out clean. All right, look at those. Okay, they are golden, well risen, and my toothpick came out clean. So they're good to go. Now it does say to leave them in the tins to cool for 2 minutes and then turn them out to leave them to cool completely. And then also, I'm not going to assemble this cake until tomorrow because I want these to be chilled overnight so I can slice them in half. So I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, my cakes have chilled overnight, so they're ready to go. I'm going to make the mascarpone filling to go with my tiramisu cake. So I have 6 egg yolks in my bowl, and I'm going to whisk that together with 75 grams of a caster sugar, 4 tablespoons of marsala, or you could use amaretto, and a pinch of salt. So I'm going to whisk this all together until it's fully combined. Okay, now I'm going to take my whisked egg yolks and I'm going to put it over a pan of simmering water. Mine is just about to simmer. I'm just going to whisk this for 5 minutes until the mixture is hot to the touch, very thick, and tripled in volume. Okay, I think we're there. It's been more like 7 minutes, but it is thick. So now I'm just going to take it and plunge it into my ice water back here. Okay, in order to stop the cooking process, I need to plunge it in my cold sink back there and stir or whisk occasionally till it's cool. Okay, so the next step was to beat my 750 grams of my mascarpone cheese until smooth. It was pretty much smooth coming out of the container, so I just gave it a stir. And then I'm going to fold in my cooled egg mixture along with 125 grams of melted white chocolate. So I'm just going to, these bowls, this is going to be a very full bowl is what I'm going to say here. So it says into the egg mixture though, so I'm going to put them all into that bowl and fold it in. My white chocolate in there. I did let the white chocolate cool slightly before I'm going to dump it in here. And now we're going to fold. Okay, it's definitely not 100% smooth, but it seems all right. I'm not too worried about it. What I did with my sponges, because you guys were like, well, I did the cake. So the sponges, all I did was I took them and I sliced them in half. So you can kind of see I did that so that we have, instead of just 3 layers that we baked, we have 6 layers. So what it says to do is to put 1 sponge layer in the bottom of a 20 centimeter springform tin. So I have one of those ready to go. I'm just going to figure out how to get the layers apart. Okay. So if I put 1 layer in the bottom, I'm going to brush generously with a coffee syrup. So basically I have 150 milliliters of either a brewed coffee or espresso. I went with espresso, and then I just put a tablespoon of brown sugar in here. It says Demerara sugar. We don't have that. So I'm brushing my cake with this mixture. Doesn't really want to brush very well on here. And then spread 2 heaping tablespoons of the mascarpone mixture. Okay, so 2 heaping tablespoons. Scatter with 1 tablespoon of the grated dark chocolate. So I have 150 grams of coarsely grated dark chocolate, and I'm just going to sprinkle. And then I'm just going to continue that process until my cake is all complete. So 6 times I get to do it, just like this. Now, it says once until you top with the final sponge. So that's my final sponge here. I don't know, it doesn't necessarily say whether you're supposed to do that with the final sponge, but it does say to press them. I'm going to press them, and then I'm just going to put the syrup on top, because it doesn't say, and I have leftover syrup, and I want to make sure I use all my coffee flavor, because that's kind of what a tiramisu is, right? But I have a leftover of my filling and a leftover of my dark chocolate. But I do need to let this chill in the fridge. It says cover and chill for at least 2 hours to let the flavors kind of melt together. And then I'll just cover up my cheese mixture as well, so that way I can use it later. All right, it's been 2 hours. I got the cake out of the pan and onto a serving plate. Yeah, it looks all right. I'm glad we're covering it up. We'll just put it that way. The rest of my mascarpone cheese covering is going on the cake. So I'm just going to put it all on top and cover up the sides of my cake as best as I am able. Okay, the really beautiful thing about this cake is now I'm going to cover the sides with my leftover chocolate pieces. I'm never actually sure how you're supposed to do this cleanly. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just going to try to cover. There it is. Okay, it, covered decently well. The last little piece of our cake is just to dollop some whipped cream on top. So you can, feel free to buy some. You take 300 milliliters of double cream or heavy whipping cream and just whip it to soft peaks. And then I'm just gonna start dolloping it all over my cake. Oop, that one looked kind of funny. I probably could have done bigger dollops because I have quite a bit of whipped cream left over, but it will not go to waste in my house. Don't worry. I have some chocolate covered coffee beans that I just kind of roughly chopped, and I mean like really roughly. And I'm just going to sprinkle them on top. Some of them I didn't even chop in half, which is okay with me. It says a tablespoon of them. I'm probably going to put up more than just this tablespoon, because this is just not very many. And some of them ended up more roughly chopped than others. I'm going to put a couple unchopped ones for shininess. It says you can dust with cocoa powder, but I'm just going to use the very last little bit of chocolate shavings here just to dust it on top. Because what's really left is basically powder. Anyway, there we go. See if I can pick it up. That actually looks a lot better than some of the cakes I've done. on this channel. So yeah, I'm excited. Let's cut it open. Hey, look at that. Look at all those layers. Looks awesome. Yeah. I have already tried it. I'm not gonna lie. I made it for a family celebration, basically. So, but I will, you know, try another bite. It is delicious. I'm not gonna lie. It's just so good. All right. You should really like coffee. With the caveat, like, I don't know, maybe it doesn't have as much coffee flavor as I think, but it's very good. I like the mascarpone cheese layer. I didn't necessarily like it by itself. I tried it like separate, and I was like, "Ooh, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good." But with the espresso and with the whipped cream, it's all just very good. And then chocolate, yeah, it's meant to be all together. Like if you just get like if you just taste like the cake layer, not super impressive. If you just taste the cheese layer, not very impressive. All together, very good. So that was my latest bake from my Great British Baking Show cookbook, Love to Bake. If you got this far, give me a thumbs up. I appreciate every one of you watching. And as always, subscribe so that you can see the next bake. And I will see you next bake.